So there's this trend which Capcom has, and that is to take a character from a video game of theirs, like Resident Evil 4, and release a costume from him that existed in the previous game. So for instance, you have Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil 4, and they make the costume that he had in Resident Evil 2. And people love that. You know, the fans like it, they're willing to pay money for it. But there are individuals on Twitter which can't sleep at night because this happens. Like they are the last bastion of morality on Earth. They are the ones that protect society from the great evils of the Japanese corporations. And they literally freak out whenever this is the case. And their major superpower has to be gaslighting. Right? So here you have this individual which already pumps up the gas by saying that there is a really weird misconception that the Resident Evil fandom has, where people have the problems with girls wearing revealing or sexy costumes, and that's why people are uncomfortable with Sherry's Resident Evil 6 out. So let me clear something out, right? And when people say like, no, shut the fuck up, you're wrong, he's going to attack those people. Now, I just want you to understand what is going on here, right? When they say people, it's usually like 5 or 10. Maybe if you're stretching it, like if it's a really big controversy for normals, it's like 15. But then you have hundreds of thousands of sales in toys, millions of dollars made in DLC. Yeah, sure, you say people, but we have legions. We have tens of thousands of people that are not just comfortable, they are so extremely comfortable that they will spend money in order to buy the product. Okay? So this is why it triggers normal folk. It's because everyone is enjoying something that we know it's harmless, and then you're coming up like Jack Thompson, freaking out about it, and trying to make it sound that everyone that enjoys it is a pedophile. Because that's literally the argument they always have. It's either you're obsessed with porn if the girl has big tits in the fan service, or you're a pedophile if the girl has a flat chest. Like, literally. And it triggers us because it reminds us of Jack Thompson. Like, we already went through this bullshit once. When we were kids, every single time in the United States that there was a mass shooting, it would be like, oh, it's because they play GTA. It's because it's a murder simulator, right? Like why would the normal person play a video game when you have shooting? Well, why would the normal person be this psychotic to play a video game where you have like zombies that are tearing apart little girls? Like what is wrong with you? Why would you enjoy something like that? Why would you watch a slasher film? Right? Like people back then that were mortal busybodies, they would use the exact same arguments. Like, video game scary, video game treats bad stuff, therefore, if you play the video game, you become a bad person. So in this situation, you have Sherry from Resident Evil 6, and at this point in the game, she's already an adult. Not that it even fucking matters, by the way, because like Resident Evil is not a porn game. Like, it is safe for work. It is a mature game because of the themes of violence with zombies and stuff. But like, there is no sex scenes in it, right? Like there's not even kissing in it. So it wouldn't matter to begin with. But let's assume that it does. She is an adult. And the DLC costume is her wearing a school uniform, right? So now that the tourists, which love getting outraged for no fucking reason whatsoever, like it's their default state, if they're not outraged about something, they're just not happy about things. Because the tourist argument, and I'm not kidding, like, listen to me, alright? Like try to understand this. I know the argument itself can cause brain damage. I'm sorry to subjecting you to this, but you must understand what people on Twitter think, that it is normal, right? Like, they genuinely think that most human beings think like this. They believe that if the fictional character is 17, alright, like 17 in the lore, like if the developer just presses backspace on 8 and presses 7 on the keyboard, alright, if that character is 17, unless she is dressed as if she is going to church, only a pedophile would enjoy that character. So we're talking about video games like Resident Evil that have millions of fans. They literally unironically believe that there are millions of pedophiles out there in the world. Alright, like, this is the morality you get from Twitter. And most people put up with it because they are afraid to question it. And the reason that they are pushing for this morality is to shame Japanese studios, whether it is a video game studio or an anime studio, to stop appealing to the male gaze. It is the same third wave feminist bullshit ideology, and it is same thing. Like, they do not like the male gaze. They admitted that this is why they are doing it. It has nothing to do with if the character is underage or not. It has nothing to do with how it is dressed. They will just try to find reasons to use the word pedophile in every of their accusations in order to fight against the male gaze. Notice that if it's a male character like Deku from My Hero Academia, which is also underage, and he comes up shirtless in a couple of episodes, that's fine, because that is not the male gaze, right? Like, they literally want men to think that there is something wrong with them if they like pretty women. And they will try to search for whatever argument. Like for example, as I mentioned before, if you have Shantae and she is 18 in canon, then it's fine. But if it's probably not fine because she is minor coded. They have a word even for that. Like she looks too young. Even though like she is 18, she looks too young. But if the developer says she's 17, they are. Only a pedophile will like Shantae. And again, like, it's a video game where there's no hentai, there's no sex scenes, there's nothing, right? Like, it's just sold on Steam for the general public. That is the argument that they will use because, and this is what people need to understand, they hate the male gaze. And when you ask them, when you come out and confront them, it's like, I don't think you care about pedophilia, I think you just hate the male gaze. They will flat out say that they do. It's like, of course I hate the male gaze, yes. But they know that most people have moved on past third wave feminism. They know that it doesn't work. Like, calling someone a sexist or a misogynist because they like a beautiful character in a video game is laughable now. It's the same thing like saying that violent video games cause violence. Like, people moved on from that. So they're embarrassed with their take, and they have to package it in a different way to get some people to care. Right? So that's why they keep saying arguments of pedophilia when it comes to stuff like this. And when even their arguments don't make sense, like when you say, well, it's Resident Evil 6, she's a mature character now. Like, she is definitely not a child anymore. Then they will start trying to say, well, actually, it's the costume. Like, why would you like schoolgirls' uniforms? Like, only a pedophile likes schoolgirls' uniforms. And I did a little bit of a research, by the way. Like, first of all, I find it absolutely ridiculous that if my wife wanted to dress me as a Boy Scout, like, I do not think that would make her a pedophile. Right? Just because, like, she likes the costume, just because she likes the uniform, doesn't mean that when she looks at it, she thinks child. Does that make any sense? Because every single Halloween, I see women on the street wearing the schoolgirl uniform, and when I looked it up, it seems to be the most popular Halloween costume, second only to the maid. And when I see a woman going on the street looking like that, like an adult woman dressed on Halloween with the schoolgirl, I do not think, oh my god, child. Unless they think it, and if they think it, then it's a self-report, isn't it? It's the same shit, man. It's like the third wave feminists, if you guys remember, like, there was a time when so many of them ended up being sex pests. Like we're not talking about accusations, but we're talking about, like, the judge and jury found the defendant guilty. Like, you would have, like, this raging feminist online that would just lecture people about feminism, and then you find him in the newspaper. And it's the same shit now. It's literally the same fucking people that are called tourists, that are pushing for the sanitization of video games and anime. It's literally the same folk. There's no fucking difference. And they're trying to find, like, the most bizarre arguments imaginable. Like the reason schoolgirl uniforms exist for adults is because women purchase them. If women weren't purchasing these type of clothings, there wouldn't be a business to justify selling them. And I do not think that a woman who dresses this way is problematic. I'm sorry, no. I think it's a kink. It's the same like a woman dressing as a police officer and pretending that the man is a criminal. Like, I don't think the man literally wants to be arrested in that scenario. I do not think, like, the man actually wants to commit a crime so that a female police officer arrests him. I think that it's a fetish. I think that is part of role playing. And it's the exact same thing here. And not to mention, this is what they don't understand, is that if I like to see a video game character dressed with the schoolgirl uniform, I like it because it's fucking revealing. That's why. I get to see her belly, I get to see her legs, and it looks good. That doesn't necessarily mean that I want to fuck it. No, just because I like aesthetics and I like the female form, I can admire it without wanting to hump the monitor. Like, I'm sorry if you're not built like this. I'm sorry if you can't help, going into a museum and looking at a Greek statue of Aphrodite without humping her like a dog. But, like, other people aren't like that, okay? Like, other people can just look at a video game character and be like, no, that's actually fine. Oh, and there was another argument. This is, like, the most hilarious one that I heard. Is that if the character was young in one video game, then liking her in another video game is gross, icky, problematic, and you're probably a pedophile. So basically, like Tomb Raider, she was presented as a girl in the last game. Like you get to play with her as a little girl, and you get to see how her dad is shot. Emotional moment. But you're not supposed to like Lara Croft anymore because in that game she appeared as a child. And that's why you like her. Like, every road in their argument, literally every single path has to lead towards pedophilia. Whenever you have, like, a sexy character on screen, you're not allowed to like it. Unless she looks like Abby from The Last of Us, unless she looks like Ellie from The Last of Us, right? Unless she looks like a woke Disney character, you're not supposed to like her. And this is what they're going with. It's literally the same thing like racism and sexism accusations. Like the accusations isn't to get you to stop playing video games, it's to get the companies to stop censoring and to change the direction of art style that they're going with. And right now they're living that Japan isn't following suit. They're living that Japanese companies are very popular and their aesthetics are still pleasing and they manage to sell. So this is why they're attacking it. Notice how they're not attacking League of Legends for doing the exact same shit. Like, League of Legends has schoolgirl costumes for Ahri and many of their cast. And my favorite point is that when you actually demolish these individuals and you show how unpopular they are, like, for example, I made a screenshot of this and I posted it on Twitter, they literally act as if I'm part of the Horus Heresy and I'm like, I never wanted to unleash my legions, father. Literally, that's how they view me. They view me like I'm trying to unleash my fucking legions upon it. No, okay, you had a bad take on the internet, and we need to have a conversation whether you're correct or not. And when you notice that there are legions of people that disconsider your argument, and they're thinking that, no, what you're doing is really bizarre, no one thinks this way, right? And their whole shtick is to pretend that they have the numbers to convince the companies to censor. But when the companies see that, no, actually it's just a couple of fringe individuals on Twitter, don't mind them. That's when they're really livid and they're going like, delete this, oh my god, like, there are people doing racism. And I'm like, first of all, I can't mind control people to do anything, okay? Like I can't mind control people to click that subscribe button on my video, let alone, like, go and do racismus on the keyboard. I can't do that, even if I wanted, which I don't. But if I wanted, I wouldn't be able to. Right? So I didn't unleash my legions. No. And secondly, if you have a take on social media, you should expect to have backlash, especially if you're calling people freaks and pedophiles for no reason. Right? Like, why are you Pikachu face when you're slinging shit at an entire community and then people come and sling shit back at you? I mean, this is something as old as the internet. It's called the Flame Wars, and you started it. If you're going to start a Flame War, and your side, or at least the people that you claim support your arguments, are calling others freaks and pedophiles, like of course the people that are being slandered are going to respond in kind. That's human nature. Another tactic that they usually like to do, like they sling shit at an entire community, and when the shit gets slinged back, it's like, look what victims we are. Oh, why is this happening? Delete this. So yeah, that's really what's happening. When you see a tourist, call him out and say, I don't think you have a problem with sexualization of children. I think you have a problem with the male gaze. And notice how fast they will say, yes, absolutely, I have a problem with the male gaze. And when you go on their timeline, it's usually filled with pornography, like furry diaper fetish, gay furries and stuff, which is fine, you know, like no one cares. But their ideology of third wave feminism, where they have to go against the male gaze, is so strong that they want standing ovation from their peers, so they end up looking like absolute hypocrites. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.